Okay, someone else do the intro. I just took a big bite. Full
Welcome to Safety Third. William Osman is eating a what is he eating, Kevin? I didn't actually see.
Some kind of like noodles, Thai food. It's Thai food, right?
Okay. Yeah. William Osman's mouth is full of Thai food because he has forgotten how to eat. So if you're doing the listening only version of this, that's what's going on. We have backyard scientist Alan Pan and William Osman.
Is that the first time the guests have been announced in the first 30 seconds?
Yeah, it felt weird. It didn't feel right. It felt really abnormal to actually like say who everyone was here.
I remember when Jabril was like, Will, there was like one or two times you weren't on the podcast. And I think one of the times you weren't, Jabril was on and he took charge. Jabril was like, he was on it. He announced everybody. He was like the host. We were his guests on our own podcast. It was great.
God, we should do that again. That sounds great.
Yeah, Jabril is like, when he turns it on, he just like bulldozes. It's actually surprising that he doesn't make more YouTube videos because you sort of think like he's so aggressive.
He is.
That
it's
you
just,
think
maybe it's very energy intensive for him.
I think yeah. I think so. I think he does well. I feel like some people do really good in like social situations. Like I'm kind of like that. Like depends on who I'm with, but if it's okay. Let me think. How do I say this without?
Oh God, we're gonna have to.
Okay, let's just say it's like old people.
Jeffrey Epstein.
Let's say it's Jeffrey Epstein.
No offense.
He and I don't have a lot in common.
Beautiful island, though.
It is.
Yeah.
You can take the man off the island, but you can't take the island out of the man. What do they do with that? I have a question.
About islands?
Yeah, well, it's sort of about islands and Jeffrey Epstein. So Jeffrey Epstein, he's dead. He's gone.
One of the men of all time.
Yeah.
One of
he was a man. Name a man. Name a man, Alan.
Jeffrey Epstein.
So you got this island, and it's sort of infamous. What do you do with it? Like, can you just sell it?
You mean like what happened to it after he died?
Yeah, does someone else just own the island now?
Yeah, I guess I have no idea who owns Jeffrey Epstein Island now. That's actually very I think whoever does have it now probably is trying really hard to make sure that nobody knows that they have it.
Yeah, I can't imagine. Like, if somebody gave me the keys to Jeffrey Epstein's island, I think that I would. I don't know what I would do, but all I would think about the whole time is this is bad. This is bad. This is bad.
I would sell like package tour tickets and deals to QAnon people.
I think they were already doing that.
But it's
I would say like for $5,000, you can come to Jeffrey Epstein's island and you can just all access, get your grubby little hands and everything, like dig up whatever you think you can find.
Whatever graves you can find, you can dig them up. You can pillage. Because
I think that's fair.
You got like remember Neverland Ranch, Michael Jackson's property?
Oh yeah. What happened to that?
I think somebody bought it. Like, somebody bought this, sort of legendary property, like super famous property.
You think they remodeled?
I
think they just left everything.
I have no idea.
Carnival rides and.
I mean, if you're listening to this, the owner of Neverland Ranch or Jeffrey Epstein's island, I guess
please let us do
now.
A podcast episode there.
Yes, please. That's as far as we thought.
Are you sure that his estate still doesn't own it?
Well, what would they do with it?
Sell tickets to it, probably, or something.
Well, I mean,
are you kidding?
I think
They're
they did
pimping
sell
Michael Jackson out for all they can. They've got they've got him doing shows like as a 3D avatar, like they project him on
like a hologram, like a Beyond the Grave.
He still has albums coming out. He still has movies coming out. Are you kidding me?
Wait, what movies does Michael Jackson still have coming out?
I don't know, like his 45th biography or something like that.
He's gonna be in the new Super Mario movie from Nintendo. They're gonna deep fake all the Goombas with Michael Jackson's voice.
It reminds me of, you remember when we went to Japan, we went to the science museum, and like the last exhibit was like, it was kind of like a thought experiment on like, do you agree to sell your likeness like after you die or something like that? And then if you push yes or no, it would print you out a card that you would put in your wallet. So it'd say like, no, do not like, sell my likeness, or like, yeah, it's okay. You can use me to keep making money. Don't worry about it.
Here's the thing. If somebody I know is making money off me, that's fine. If it's just some random corporation making money off me, that's bullshit.
What if it's like your great 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 grandson? Like it's like 200 years from now,
and they're getting about 3% of the money.
Yeah, like by blood relation, they're like 1/16 related to you at that point.
I think that I'd be okay with that, because like otherwise it would. I think the problem is it would feel bad for someone to be able to just dig up anything, right, and capitalize on it, but having to have some sort of tie to a likeness makes it so that you can only select a very narrow band of likenesses. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like otherwise, if it was no lineage thing and it was just anyone could use it, like you'd literally have people doing. You've seen the presidential deepfakes that have been popping around recently.
Oh my god! One, like the Biden gaming with
Biden and Trump playing Minecraft. They're extremely funny.
They're great,
but also very like they're so hyperbole. I don't know. It's back into that problem where it's like you're like, okay, this is. There's some moron who thinks that's real.
Well, I just think it's like, I mean, if you think like Nepo babies are bad, just imagine like dynasties that span decades or centuries around just the image of one progenitor from 200 years ago.
Yeah.
Wait, what babies?
You know, Nepo babies, like, that thing that's been going around where people, like, the word is nepotism, but you gotta make it into, like, the current vernacular. So it's like, Nepo babies, kids of famous people or rich people who are now themselves rich or famous because they were able to get into the industry through their parents. Now imagine instead of them having to, like, still do some kind of work, they just, like, are, like, using the license of their dad's likeness forever.
Oh
Jaden Smith.
You know what's worse is when like they don't break into the industry and then they have some weird kind of like, sponsored show on MTV or something like that where the whole thing seems like it's paid for by the parents.
Yeah, you talked about that in the last podcast. The legal thing. What is that show about in the Keys?
Who, me?
What?
Yeah, Kevin. Where it's like the dad bought the sons the show.
Oh yeah. That the Siesta Key thing.
Yeah.
So
what
like
exactly is that?
So the dad is an accident attorney in Sarasota County. Like he lives right on the beach. He has got this like beautiful mansion and he makes a crap ton of money because what he does is if you get into an accident, you call like 1-800-ASK-GARY and they're just a referral service. So like they sell your information to a lawyer and then like they get a kickback on like if you win a case from the insurance,
my God, it's always the middleman.
Every son is named Gary from here on until eternity. For 1-800-ASK-GARY.
So this guy's like mega rich. He's got like this big house on the water, and then they came out with a show called Siesta Key, and it's just like him and his son and his friends like just doing rich kid things, and they're like, it's a bunch of fake drama and stuff like that. And like the cast, they're mostly all complete pieces of shit because there's like videos of them like pulling sharks out of the water and shooting them with guns. They just like throw trash in the ocean.
Oh my God.
Yeah, no, it's really bad. And somehow it's still on the air.
You should call Gary and see what's up with the shark shooting.
Can we call 1-800-ASK-GARY and ask them?
Can we ask Gary?
I refuse to talk to anybody other than Gary.
Also, here's my card from the Japanese Science Museum.
You still have it? What the hell?
Wow. So that's how we know that we can't use your likeness.
Actually, Alan.
Ooh.
Oh, wait, you said yes.
I said
yes. Yes.
Only Alan, though. He's the one. Alan.
Okay, I'm so sorry, by the way, because I just published a video and I filmed an entire little bit with Kevin to be used at the end of the video, and then it just ended up not really fitting because I ended up trying to sell my merch at the end. But I did a whole thing filming Kevin pretending to take a huge shit on my lawn as sort of like a conclusion to this kind of B-plot
running
throughout the video where I kept finding dog shit on the lawn, and the twist at the end was going to be that it was Kevin shit the entire time, and I ended up not using it. I'm so sorry, Kevin.
Yeah, I dragged
Okay.
Kevin to
You know-
Massachusetts and filmed a video about oysters and never published it.
That's coming out any day now, though.
Yeah, it is.
Am I just completely erased from that video too?
Well, me, I am as well, so you don't feel too bad.
It's okay. Aren't we still waiting on Dangerous Toys Part 2, Kevin?
Yeah.
Oh, well, Will shit it all over that video. That's okay.
Oh, what? Do it.
Did we ever double check the card?
I think you just do it. Just do it.
No, it's not Will's fault. It's his camera like corrupted, and I lost like the first half of that video.
Didn't you find some of it? Didn't you recover some of that, though?
I paid
Yeah, the
$300 to have it recovered.
Oh,
Yeah, but
okay.
the first half was still gone.
Oh no! Do you at least have the barbed wire jump rope? That was my baby. Do you
Yeah.
still have the barbed wire jump rope?
I said Will shitted on that video. I meant Will deleted everybody from that
I-
video.
That's like every time I have an experience like that, it makes my like entire world fall apart because we were filming
Yeah,
and we played back one of the clips on the camera
and it was working.
and then
Perfectly.
we turned the camera off and drove back to the Airbnb,
Yep.
and then the SD card wouldn't mount on the computer. And that was it. Like the camera turned on, it played a clip, and then we took like a 40-minute car ride, and then nothing worked. And it was like,
And it like you gave me that like recovered ISO or whatever. Like
yeah, I
this
paid like
image.
$300
Like photos from that card from like
Yeah.
3 years ago.
that you had deleted long ago.
but not
Yeah.
like the
Yeah,
actual
but-
things that you needed.
Yeah. And it was like somehow it was like what 128 gigabyte card, and it was like
Yeah.
almost a terabyte of data. It was wild. I don't know like how
What?
they managed. Yeah, they like pulled out so much stuff or like fragments of stuff.
Yeah. It may have been like file headers that were not complete files, and so it like the computer thinks that they're that big.
Oh, okay.
Like the file structure is still there, but the data's missing. I don't know.
It's
That's
fine.
terrifying.
I don't know.
That's so like sad and terrifying, and like I feel like if someone should make like there should be an M. Night Shyamalan for YouTubers to make a movie where you film for an entire day and get incredible footage, and then the SD card just is beyond corrupted, irrecoverable.
There's like
I'd watch that movie.
90% of people think this movie's garbage, and then 10% are like, this is the greatest movie I've ever seen. There's nothing in the middle. I
All the
hate.
jump scares are just like turning on the camera, and it's
Oh
just
my God.
Oh no! Oh, good lord!
formatting
like the-
SD card.
The tripod leg is not tightened all the way, and it starts falling, and the
like,
camera starts
slowly
falling.
tilts.
You're like filming on your own, and you can see it fucking happening, and there's not someone over by the camera.
I dropped a camera once. It was really bad. It was probably like the worst way to drop a camera. It was this Canon 5D Mark II, like the first DSLR that did video from Canon. I think maybe at all. It was my dad's little camera, and I had a 200 millimeter lens. It was like 90 to 200 or something. It's
Big,
very,
heavy
very,
lens.
very big, heavy lens. You know, it's like probably they're like a foot long, maybe.
Yeah.
And we were shooting. We were at a friend's wedding, and I was in the bathroom, and I had it on my shoulder, and I don't remember what I did, but I dropped it on the floor, the tile floor of the bathroom, and I was like,
Oof.
you know when you like do something so bad, and you just look down at it, and you'd like breathe in,
Yeah.
breathe out. And I like slowly, pick the camera up, and I'm like just like
God.
waiting for the worst. I'm like, I give it like a look around, and it was somehow like fine.
Really?
I broke the UV filter on the front, and the threads were kind of mangled, but like it was totally fine.
The UV filter is like the Bible in your breast pocket.
I
where,
know.
like, you flip the
Yeah.
guy over, and he's still alive because the
Like,
bullet got lodged
actually,
in the Bible. That's the UV filter.
it bent the aluminum frame of the filter, and I think that just like that tiny bit of energy absorption was enough to make it so it didn't take the full brunt, that
It
like
didn't pop the
massive
lens
impact.
mount off the camera.
Didn't
or
do
something like
anything.
that.
Yeah, and it should have. Of all like that, I think that lens has its mount on the lens because it's heavy. Like that's how it's like.
yeah.
That is the worst
Yeah.
lens. When there's the worst ones, but that is that was bad.
I filmed like the entire last third of a video once with a lens. I had the Canon M50 just with like, whatever adjustable lens on it.
I can't believe you use that camera for your main videos.
What? You used to use it for your main videos.
For the second channel videos. The M50.
The M50.
Yeah.
So I mean,
well, I'll buy a new camera eventually.
What camera are you using right now, Will?
M50.
Yeah.
But it's like the M50 is like the low budget camera.
Well, yeah, because then like when something like this happens, it's not a big deal. I was at an anime convention. I dropped the whole fucking thing before I even started. It was like I hadn't gotten any footage yet. I dropped my camera on the ground, and the lens, it broke where like it was visibly crooked. So it must have been like 5 to 10 degrees where it was like visibly not straight
it's a tilt
anymore.
shift. You made a tilt shift lens.
Yeah, exactly. Tilt shift.
Well, that was the thing. It's still recorded fine, and the autofocus still worked somehow. I'm not entirely sure how that
your
worked.
plane of focus was at a diagonal angle.
Maybe the active image stabilization could kind of like account for that by like
5
I don't
degrees.
know what it was, but I filmed the rest of the day on that thing, and I couldn't really punch in and out anymore. I couldn't really zoom anymore. But the autofocus worked. And I was like, "Fuck! I still can get a video out of this." I spent the rest of the day with that camera, and I think that video has like 2 million views.
That's a good camera for that kind of an accident, though, because you can just throw it in the trash, and for like $800 buy another one. Like if you like. Looking at some of the cameras some YouTubers have, it is insane. Like I feel like the M50 is like other than using your cell. No. I'm sorry. A cell phone's more expensive.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
The M50 is like, it's a great, almost like GoPro, like a kind of not disposable camera, but like that's the camera that you put into situations where it potentially is going to get destroyed.
I love traveling with it. Like it's it's not a big deal, and it's like it gets perfectly serviceable footage.
If it's bright outside, if you have enough light, the M50 works great. It does so poor in low light. Also, if you compare it to I don't even have a nice camera, the 90D. I'm
gonna get one of those too. You don't think that's a nice camera?
The 90D is a nice camera, but like it's not a nice camera.
Okay,
How much was the 90D?
Black Magic.
90D is what we filmed the oyster video with. Because like
it's like a $2,000.
It's like a $2,000 camera, yeah. So that's like I would say on the low end of.
I would agree
camera.
with you. A lot of people might not agree with you, but trust me, like I've seen the kind of stuff that other YouTubers film with, and it's like, are you filming like a feature length film? It's like insane.
$8,000, $12,000, $15,000,
and then like the external monitors, and then like the lights, like the barn house. Or the barn door, like
and then even with Canon, you can get higher end stuff too, even just DSLRs. I think like the R6 or the R5, or I really actually have no idea what any of the new ones are.
Blackmagic cameras.
Yeah, Blackmagic. Those are
podcast.
expensive. Yeah, those are. How much do those cost each? I think they were like $2,000 each without a lens. I think the podcast cameras were like $2,500 with a lens, or $2,600 each with a lens. So the 90D relatively is a really inexpensive camera, but if you compare it to the M50, it looks so much better. But it still is like, it's not as disposable, but we took it kind of in the ocean when we did the oyster video. And it was just like, do we go and buy a waterproof case for $1,500, or do we rent one for $500? It's like, no, if it goes in the water, which it probably won't, then that sucks, but it didn't.
My drone did.
Kevin's drone went into the water.
No,
brand new, a day old.
It was a DJI Mavic Tea Party.
Well, now you have to publish that video, Will. Otherwise, that drone sacrifice will be for nothing.
It's really good drone footage too. I don't know.
I don't know. But just put that stuff up for sale as stock footage. Maybe someone else can use it then.
This episode of the Safety Third podcast is sponsored by Bespoke Post. They're a monthly club that delivers top shelf goods from under the radar brands. It's free to join, and every month they introduce their members to cool new products like outdoor gear, barware, kitchen goods, and even clothes. Like this bag, the Weekender, the same one I trained my cat to jump into. All of this is based on a preference quiz that members fill out when signing up. 90% of the products in Bespoke Post boxes come from small brands, many of which are based right here in the US. This is the siphon coffee making kit, one of the coolest ways to make coffee because of how the water moves up and down as it's heating up. But if you don't drink coffee and you're worried about getting something you wouldn't use, you get a preview before every order ships, and you can decide to swap boxes or not receive it at all. Each box of Awesome has around $70 in value, but you only pay a fraction of the price.
High quality vinyl cooler.
See how many drinks we could fit in there. Oh my God, look at that.
I fit the entire thing.
To get 20% off your first box of Awesome, click the link in the description below, or go to bespokepost.com/safety20 and use the coupon code at checkout, safety20.
Do you wanna hear something nice?
Sure, yeah.
Today, we filmed in about an hour a second channel video, because we've been doing like once a week now, and Jacob edited it in about 2.5 hours. So in a matter of like 3 to 4 hours, we had a video on the second channel.
That's
Done.
Fantastic.
Is it up right now?
No, Saturdays.
Okay. What's it about?
I try to kill gophers.
Oh, okay.
Try to look for a creature that we saw, but we didn't know what it was because it was really big.
Oh,
It
so
was
you
like
just started digging?
well, like creatures here in California, like there's like small creatures and then like
Yeah.
bigger creatures. We don't have a whole lot of like medium creatures. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like cat
Like a cat,
size?
the cat size.
Yeah.
We don't have a whole lot of like cat size. Like between like a rodent and a cat, there's not a whole lot. Like maybe a possum. Raccoons are big though.
Was it a raccoon?
I don't think so. It could have been. It was. I don't know. I don't know what it was. We didn't find it. But anyways, it was having an editor, a really good editor, has been a nice experience, and I think we'll see how he does. Like maybe throw him the oyster video and see what he can make out of it. That I don't know. That video has fundamentally another issue.
Might
though,
be
where
unsalvageable.
it's not bad. I just don't know what people want to watch anymore. Like.
I have no idea. I don't. It feels like the landscape right now is just very weird, and I'm not entirely sure I know like what it is. I had a really nice time. Other than the entire video, having to do the video. Which
Other
was
than
horrible,
the
as it
entire
always is.
time, I had a really nice
Other
time.
than the entire time, it was nice. Like having Audrey start to get like kind of better at this. She's still like a long ways from being able to like from start to finish, I think, do anything with like raw footage.
Yeah.
But she was able to like put together like basically I was like I need like I'm working on the first half of the video. Like I know that this is going to end up in some kind of like a training montage essentially of me using these jump boots. I just need a training montage, and I can clean it up after. And she delivered something that was like there was a lot of changes and a lot of voiceover that I added, but structurally it was essentially there. And she added a bunch of like kind of like this stupid like little eagle sound effect thing that I never would have thought to do. And so it was like stuff that she like put in there that I was like, oh, that's like legitimately a really good idea actually. And it gave me something that was a lot easier to work with than just like the raw footage. So that felt good.
What I like the most about working with somebody else when doing videos is you can have them do work that you think there might be a chance you don't use it. Like there's nothing more demoralizing if you're making a video by yourself to go through the process of like doing a joke, doing this edit, doing this, and then having to cut it all out because you're like, this doesn't work. And having somebody else, like I would describe it as, imagine if you paid somebody to like, you give them a screwdriver and a piece of wood and a screw, and you have them screw the screw in, and then you have them unscrew it, and then screw the screw in. Like it sucks, but you're paying them, and it makes it a lot easier. It's this huge mental relief to be able to like try an idea and not have to shoulder like the exhaustion of that work. And then
see what you do is you pass on the anxiety to the person you hired
in exchange for money.
But they're not as tied to it though.
Like how far do I screw this screw in? Like I screwed it in like this much and he yelled at me and then I had to unscrew it and then that wasn't good, so I had to screw it back in.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's hard. There's something about if you have to do everything yourself, and you do those things, you just kind of get demoralized and have a harder time working. So if you can let somebody else do it and you can share the demoralization, you can focus on doing other things. Like it helps to like reduce the hesitation to do something. I don't know.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. Where it's like, it's not that you're making someone else's life miserable. You're just having them take one of the burdens, which is essentially like what an employee is, right? It's like they're taking burdens away. And you're having them shoulder the burden, some of the burden.
Also, I've noticed that when you do something like that, and like I've had an editor edit my videos like 2 or 3 times, and every time they've done it, I'm like, you know what? It's good enough. I'll just post it. Like,
whoa.
Like I'll go through it a little bit and do stuff, but you know, I'm like, it's good. I like what they did. But if I put that same video together, I think I'd have too many doubts about like, you know, I don't like this bit here. I don't like this bit there. But the fact that it was like delivered to me in almost a finished state, like
which videos were those?
That was the capacitor video where we blew stuff up with a giant capacitor bank. And
oh yeah, I remember that. The one that
there was one more. I can't remember right now, but they were both good.
That's cool. That's where I'm hoping to get to. Like, I think maybe like another year or so might get somewhere near there.
Yeah, I think this sort of stuff takes a long time. It's, you know, people think making videos is easy, and like honestly, for some people it might be easy.
We're just doing it wrong. I think there's a lot of videos that are actually really easy, in that they're like we're making them harder for no reason.
You should see the second channel. Those videos are easy.
No, I sent this capacitor video to 3 different editors. One of them had a mental breakdown and couldn't finish the video.
Wow.
The other one, it just wasn't right. And then the third one, it was like, you know, it was good.
Okay, what did they describe the mental breakdown as?
They're like, I don't know what's going on in the video. Like they had no idea like the progression that I was going for when I filmed it. They just couldn't see it.
That's like my dream, to be able to force that kind of experience onto anyone in the comments that say like, you know, why didn't you do it this way, or why didn't you do it that way?
Yeah.
That's like my dream, to be able to like teleport one of those people into my garage.
And you're like, I did it this way, and I deleted it out of the video.
I know, it's like if I had actually explained to you every reason why I didn't do what you said, you would not have seen the video.
Exactly.
Nobody would have watched it.
Also, the capacitor video was like a very easy linear video. It was like, we have this thing, we blow it up, we react to it. Then we get a new thing, we blow it up, we react to it.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's that is some stuff that's like, I think it's so ingrained in your brain, and probably at least a little bit in all of our brains, that's like, it's very clear. And if you took someone who hasn't spent a lot of time like just doing the kind of shit that we do, I could see how it would be completely incomprehensible to someone to just throw them into that if they had sort of no background, no experience. They were just like, even if they were just like a capable editor specifically for like blowing a bunch of shit up with a capacitor, I could definitely see someone just being completely overwhelmed.
Yeah, because you're trying to like give them a producer role too. And then there was the parrot that was like screeching the whole time in the neighbor's yard. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
It was like,
and then there'd just be like a bull, like a 50 cal going off when the capacitor is discharged, and the birds would just be like,
the birds would start moaning and stuff.
The parrots didn't learn how to make the sound of a 50 caliber round going off.
No, but
they made a worse sound.
Sound.
They perfectly replicate the sound of a hot dog being blown up by a capacitor.
I just did something that made me feel real bad a couple of days ago. We have this very talented artist that we're using for a lot of stuff that I found on Twitter. He's great. He's Greek. And we had him working on
the detail, need the flavor.
Yeah. Well, he's this Greek guy that there's a little bit of a language barrier, and he's great, but there can be sometimes it can be a little bit like confusing to try to convey ideas. He speaks really good English, but you know how that is. And also, I have a really hard time giving feedback to artists because sometimes I don't know how to say that I don't know, like it's not bad, it's just not what I want without making.
I feel like I'm speaking Greek to you, man.
So he worked it was 3 days on this piece of art for open source for the event, and we had to get it out with the one of the documents we were sending to sponsors, and it just wasn't the vibe. Like, it wasn't bad. It was just not the vibe. And I think, like, we realized it's sort of way too late. Like, it showed too much, which sort of wasn't showing enough, if that makes any sense. Like, you know, sometimes in a horror movie where they show the monster and it's like not good anymore. Like, it's better when you couldn't see the monster.
Yeah.
Because like you can't. It's hard to make the monster meet your expectations. Kind of like that, where it's like if your art shows too much, which we were kind of like trying to show a lot of the event.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yes. Oh my God. Why did you do that?
So he works like 3 days on this thing, and I'm just sitting there looking at it, and I know in my head, because we had like only like 2 days left, and I'm like, oh shit, I have to basically tell him that we're not going to use this and that we need something else. And I felt bad, but I also don't really feel bad because we paid him for all the work. Like, he's getting paid for the hours.
Yeah.
And this is that's just a part of the job. And it's like, yep, okay, we can't use this. Let's work on something else. Like, sorry.
Yeah, money really solves like all of those things. And it's like it's a relief to be at a place where like you can have people work for money, because I remember like early on trying to like work with friends, and essentially everything's pro bono and everything's like just like, hey, like, you know, can you do me a solid? And then it's like if they do a whole thing and it's shit, and then it's like well, what am I supposed to say? I did it for free, you know? It's actually such a relief to be able to like just I paid an artist for a license for a design for the new Mythbuster shirt that I have, and I like stared at it for weeks because I just couldn't figure out, like, there was just something wrong with it. And after like a month, I realized what the issue was. It was that it looked too nice. And so then the next day I took this thing that I paid like $500 for and used up however much of this artist's time, and I had Audrey trace over it with like shitty lines to purposefully make it look like a child drawing. And that's what we put on the shirt.
Nice.
It didn't matter because we paid the artist, so it's fine.
Yeah. It's so. I feel like I learned that a while ago, that if art is too nice, it can and almost always does become worse. Too clean, too polished, too colored in.
Yeah,
like,
honestly, if anything, it's still like a smidge too nice. I really should go over it with my own hands.
You should
and then
run it over with your car.
Yeah, that's how I live my entire life. That's my creed.
Is make it worse so it's better.
Yeah, on purpose.
Like, okay, so here's it's like so it's like the dumpster set, right? Like, okay, well, what do we do? What if we just throw a bunch of trash into it? Like, we're not trying to make it look good. We're literally doing what you would do if you had a dumpster. You just kind of throw things at it. Like, you made your job easier and it came out better.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about the set, is that, like, you might think that it's all set dressing, but a large portion of that is legitimate garbage that we actually put in there.
And it's problematic because we can't figure out what was put there and what we left there.
There's actually
how long
flies.
Was this clam chowder
There's
open
actually
for?
flies.
I think the clam chowder got thrown away. I think we knew better than to leave a full bottle. Oh, there's like a beer. There's like a half drunk beer somewhere.
There's like some tortillas. There's.
Yeah.
I'm worried for.
Yeah, I should probably poke my head.
It's low pressure though. It's nice to be able to just throw things.
Trash.
Yeah.
But you know what I saw on the Discord server? People were like, you know, I kind of like the online stuff. Did you see that?
Versus on the set? No way.
Yeah.
No.
They said that they like it when it's online, because then it's more like you're sitting there at the computer with these people hanging out with them. And it's like versus they're in a set, which is weird because usually like the in-person stuff I think does better, and like I have a better time doing that.
Okay. Well, you know what the solution then is.
Out.
We should start selling posters that are just backdrops of the dumpster set so that they can put it behind themselves, and then they'll feel like they're hanging out with us on the set, because the set is objectively better. I will die on that hill.
I will die in that dumpster.
Yeah, I'll die in that dumpster that the set is way better than this. Not that this is bad. You should still listen to this if you're listening to this, please. But
I bet you that's a vocal minority. I think that.
You think?
I think so. Yeah, I
think you're right because the views don't lie. I mean, the in-person stuff does better.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. It's easier. It's easier to like do it. I don't know. There's just something more natural about doing it in person. It's like less. I don't want to say draining, but like, it's. I don't know, man. I like doing everything in person. It's the most fun.
I think heard somebody say that like Kevin. They just gave like a very broad overview of Safety Third podcast, and they're like, oh, like, I don't know, like Will just has some really weird, stupid takes the whole time.
Yeah.
And they talk about taxes a lot. And then Kevin's just like browsing Reddit. He doesn't even know what's going on. And I'm like, wow, they're a true fan. They actually watch the podcast.
I love when people complain about our takes like we're like educators.
I know.
It's like, have you seen any of the stuff we do?
Where we have any power to like change or like do anything.
Oh God, yeah. You should hear about everything we just said about Jeffrey Epstein about 20 minutes ago.
I know, you were talking about Jeffrey Epstein and then people get mad at you for your take on the house prices. It's like, no, we should be talking about island prices. Get mad at me for island. I know nothing about island prices. I know nothing about I do house prices. I
remember we had to just like going over a whole review with our producer about if it was okay how many times we talked about Nazis when we were talking about Slytherin and Harry Potter, which that's what they are. I think I voted that it was fine. I think it's fine.
I think it was fine.
We'll see. We'll read those comments in a week or two. Remember, Alan Pan can't be canceled. He said so on Twitter.
I tweeted it, and it's worked every day since then.
And what?
Just like how I've got this screwdriver that keeps bears away. Ever since I bought this screwdriver, I've not seen a single bear.
Not a single bear?
Yeah, not a single one. I didn't see any before I bought it either, but that was just luck. Now it's the screwdriver.
It's like my New Year's resolution is to smoke less meth.
It's a goal should be out, like, what is it that your reach should be beyond your grasp or whatever?
Within your grasp. Your goal should be within your grasp. So if you don't smoke meth and you say that you're going to stop smoking meth, you can very quickly accomplish your goals and feel good about yourself with minimal effort.
I'm going to continue not smoking meth for Lent.
Yeah.
I'm going to give up.
I'm going to eat it.
Smoking.
I'm going to keep sprinkling it on my Cheerios.
If you give up not smoking meth for Lent, then you have to smoke meth for 40 days then. If you give up not smoking it.
Is it really 40 days though, or is it just one really long day?
Is it really 40 days if you don't sleep once?
Gig a day.
You're just simulating like a day on like Neptune or something.
Holy shit! What if that's a video simulating what it's like for a day on living a day on Neptune, and you're just
on Neptune days actually last for like 400 hours. Well,
all right, about to go through my day on Neptune.
Well, that was like the NASA group that was on like the Mark Rober. I'm sure Mark Rober did this because he worked at NASA. He definitely
smoked meth.
Yeah. He definitely smoked meth. When they, like, the rover team, they stayed on a Mars schedule so that they were in sync with the rover. So, like, the Mars day is only a little different by, like, a few hours, but it ends up being really weird just after, over time.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it drifts really, really far after a while. And I think they did that for, like, months, if not years.
I feel like, was that actually like a strategic thing, or are they just a bunch of space nerds who are like,
it's probably both. I guarantee you it was like an excuse for them to like have this weird like science fantasy they always had.
That's why I put
simulate a Mars day. Oh, sorry, honey. Sorry, kids. I'm going to be asleep during the day because we're on Mars time.
It's just an unfortunate part of the job.
Yeah, like the rover cares whether or not you know what time of day it is on Mars.
Isn't like the battery just dead half the time anyways?
Yeah, and it only moves like 50 feet a day, so
yeah, it depends.
Far.
The last one was nuclear. Yeah, it had that weird it's like a Peltier electricity generator, and then the heat source is just like a piece of radioactive material.
The radio.
It's just a bunch of clock arms.
Thermoelectric generator. Kyle Hill just did a video on that stuff, basically.
Oh yeah? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
I think they should have a Mars rover that runs on gas. That'd be cool.
Yeah. I think we need. Do you think Mars has any oil?
It better.
There was life. There was probably life on Mars at some point. There was a lot of water. Maybe it turned
There won't be
into
once
oil.
we pull the oil out of it.
Like if there was anything equivalent to algae, could have maybe.
The great galactic oil pipeline. Try protesting this, hippies.
Dude, if whatever it takes
USA,
to get if we can get NASA's budget to like $1 trillion a year through a Mars oil pipeline, I am all for it.
Okay, I got a question. How would we have to use all the metal on Earth to make an oil
have to start
pipeline?
asteroid mining so you could get metal from the asteroids.
Yeah. And actually, I think like Mars, the soil is iron oxide too. So
You convert half of the mass of Mars
you could
into a
use the
pipe.
hydrocarbons to reduce it to iron. And I played a lot of Minecraft Create. I think we could figure this out.
Wait, how much
No.
aluminum powder would you have to dust on Mars to make the entire surface thermite and set it off?
Yes.
How much aluminum powder would you have to snort to forget what your name was?
Probably enough for one sitting. I think you could do it in one sitting.
You think so?
Yeah, I think you could. I think it would be really bad and you would die, but I think you could.
How?
I think
What?
you would die because your lungs are full to the brim, full of aluminum powder.
Hey kids, you heard of the cinnamon challenge?
This is the thermite challenge.
It's the aluminium challenge.
Do we have to say
Can you
that
guys say we don't talk
don't
about
actually
science on
want
this
kids to
podcast?
do that?
No, we want kids to do this, and we want you to
Okay,
take
we
all
do.
of our takes and financial advice as real advice and legal advice.
Yeah.
All the advice we give
I
you
am
is
literally a doctor, and aluminum
Yes.
powder is great for your lungs.
the best way to hold a chainsaw is by the moving blade.
Oh, the best way to stop it is with your hands or genitals.
The best way to stop
That's why
a
they
moving
warn you
chainsaw
not
blade
to.
is to use your ass cheeks like a brake.
Squinting it works fine for a welder. Just squint really hard.
Wait, like ass cheeks, like the way like a ninja catches
Yeah.
a sword. Like ass cheeks.
You just
and a chainsaw.
grab the chainsaw blade with your butt cheeks.
That's awesome. I don't remember that scene in Chainsaw Man, but I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Oh my god, yeah.
Oh, speaking of aluminum and forgetting things, like I remember one time reading about like there's a possible link between aluminum and getting Alzheimer's or something like that. So I did some
Oh
research.
yeah.
And I found out that there's like this mining company in Australia that this was back in like the 50s or something like that. Somebody had this idea that inhaling aluminum powder before you went into the mine would prevent silicosis, which is like basically in a mine, there's like a lot of rock dust and shit like that. And if that gets in your lungs, you get like pretty much a horrible, like slow, painful death where your lungs like turn into concrete. And they thought that if you inhale aluminum, it coats your lungs and prevents the silica from getting into your lungs. So like 50 years later, some researchers thought like, oh, we should study these people and see if like there's any like long-term exposure like to aluminum, if this could cause Alzheimer's disease. Well, they found out that nobody got Alzheimer's because they all died from something else before that. They all
Oh
died of
my
silicosis
god.
anyway.
That's
And
my favorite folk remedy that I've ever heard.
Yeah, they would
Oh,
have
just-
to like sit in this room full of like getting pumped full of aluminum dust for like 10 or 20 minutes before they went down into the mines every day.
Whose idea was that?
That's-
That reminds me of like do you know there was a period of time where like in like Victorian times England, they thought that the way to revive a person that had drowned was to have a bellows with tobacco smoke in it and pump it into their butt.
Into their butt?
Into their butt.
Oh, I'm drowning.
That was a thing for like decades, like a solid 20 to 30 years. That was an actual belief, and they had bellows on the side of like the fucking River Thames,
No
where you could
way.
like yes, that
I
you
bet
could
you-
use in an emergency.
If you took tobacco leaves, you shoved them into the bellow entry, and then you threw the inflated bellow into the river, that would have done more good.
Well, that's what I mean. That's the level of that this is on, of like inhaling aluminum to prevent silicosis. Like where does this come from?
I thought if you said that they were going to like pump tobacco smoke into their lungs, I'm like, you know what?
No, it was their butts. I don't know why, but it was their butts.
That's like a 2-person job.
This was almost like really good, big tobacco propaganda. Is like, look at the smoke in their lungs revives them. But no, somebody else thought of it, and it's into the butt instead.
We should get a medical dummy and see if we can do it. Who can, like, do we need 2 people? Like, how many people does it take to pump tobacco smoke into a butt?
Wait, actually, I think you could do it with one. It would just be slower.
What if it's the pressure of like filling up your butt with smoke pushes the water out of your lungs? Kind of thing.
I don't think anyone ever had a reasonable explanation for why they thought it would work, and there was no recorded incidences of it working, but it was still a common enough belief that they had, like, like how we have like the those defibrillator machines in schools.
Yeah,
it's like they would have the tobacco and bellows next to rivers. That's how much people believed it.
What are you saying about the defibrillator machines?
No, those I'm sure those probably work.
I hope. Yeah, it only works if you put the whole entire handle up your ass.
Your butt.
And the other one goes in your mouth.
No, that makes sense. That completes a circuit. Your heart's in between. I don't know how else you would do it.
It shocks your gooch. We all know what happens when you electrocute someone's gooch.
The patient's heart is stopped, but we believe we can continue pumping the blood through his gooch muscles.
The strongest muscle in the human body, the gooch. Heart 2.0.
Their heartbeat is now 20,000 hertz, but it worked. If you just flex this muscle fast enough, it'll pump blood.
Actually, hold on. Do you think like obviously not in a sustainable way, but do you think you could keep someone alive for like a few minutes by just making them like forcing their other muscles to contract to move blood around?
I bet you probably could.
Like just for a little bit, not for the rest of for the rest of their life, but their life will be really short.
Do you remember Michael's like his boxing like shocking thing?
How could I forget?
Yeah, if it's like that, how it would like control. First, it would like raise your arm up, then it would like extend your arm. If you did that, like starting in your toes, and you like contracted all the muscles in a wave.
Oh, just squeeze the entire body like some fucked up caterpillar.
And
it just undulates up and down, and that's how it moves your blood around.
Yeah.
What happens to blood when you flex your muscles? Does it go backwards, right? Because your heart will stop it from your heart has valves.
I think it does move, or at least like biases, because that's a maneuver for like jet fighter pilots, right? Is to like contract all the muscles in their legs.
That's trying to, I'm guessing, equalize blood pressure. Like it's to keep blood from like sagging in their legs.
Yeah.
So like it increases the pressure in their legs so that the blood doesn't get forced. Not as much blood can get forced to the legs. I don't know if that makes any sense. So if you were to squeeze your muscles, I think the blood would move, but like, is there a guarantee that it moves in the circuit?
Yeah, because your veins have valves in them. Like
they
one-way
do?
valves. Yeah.
Oh,
that's cool.
Yep.
I mean, that's essentially, it's just like we're talking about just CPR, but a little more complicated.
This feels like a Nutbusters episode, the tobacco in the butt.
Of seeing if it actually does anything.
I think it would just give you like a nicotine head high.
I'm pretty sure that it would be like smoking, but like faster because you're boofing tobacco. But if your lungs are full of water, I don't think it helps you at all.
Dude, imagine how weird your farts would smell.
I think they would smell better than normal. They would
smell
like
a
tobacco
weird,
smoke.
like kind of barbecue, but like a kind of poopy barbecue smell.
Yeah.
There's probably supplements you can take to make your shit smell like that.
Like sweeter.
Yeah.
I want my farts to smell like Sweet Baby Ray's.
Yeah.
Wait, are there supplements that can make your farts smell different? Like smell good?
Yeah, Taco Bell. Oh, good.
I feel like you could probably find something that does that.
Essential oils.
Yeah, I think if you load it up on like peppermint or something, you could probably get some weird.
If you
smells
OD'd on peppermint.
Next week on Chubby Emu.
This man tried to make his farts smell good, and this is what happened. This man boofed 40 gallons of peppermint extract.
Was there? I'm gonna bring it back. Was there any plausible, like, what was the explanation for the aluminum thing? preventing silicosis?
There wasn't.
Like, did they have any?
No.
They just thought
figured it was like, I bet, like, look at aluminum, like, coats everything, right? Aluminum powder. What if we put that in our lungs? It's like we have metal lungs. We're like a robot. They don't get silicosis. I literally think that's the depth of it.
What was aluminum powder used
like,
for?
The news article about this revolutionary treatment for miners.
Is aluminum powder used for, like, I'm trying to like lubrication? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, where would you even get aluminum powder unless it was just like thermite? What would they be doing with it?
Like back in the day, I don't know. I think it might be something like it kind of does work against silicosis, but that's only because inhaling it like makes you produce so much mucus that it like naturally carries everything up out of your lungs.
It kills you before the silicosis can.
Yeah, I mean that's what was happening to the miners.
Why didn't they just wear like a mask or something?
No, that's not cool. I don't think that it costs money to give miners masks.
Yeah, but think how much the aluminum room costs.
I think this is when Australia was still like a bunch of like prisoners or something.
I think they still are. They just don't realize it yet.
Australia has some really bad mines. They were really big into asbestos too, actually.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't there like an asbestos shoveling competition or something like that? I saw like
that. I would believe that. I would 100% believe that was a thing.
Sounds like some Australian stuff. Dude, imagine like living there before the internet. Holy God. What would you even do in Australia?
I don't know. I've seen some videos of like those urban like the urban explorers visiting like the towns that like asbestos mining towns are so contaminated they're like closed down by the government, and then people will record themselves like breaking into it and exploring. It's like you
disturbing it's like dust falling off the shelves and stuff, and it's just like, whoa.
You do not you know what? Anything for the views.
You got a 50-year in the future death wish.
I mean, that's the worst part is like the latency. Like it'll get you way down the line. You're an entirely different person, and this teenager has made these decisions 50 years ago that have condemned you to fucking mesothelioma.
If you inhale a bunch of aluminum, you won't even remember. You won't have any idea what's going on, and you'll just cease to exist.
If you spend a whole day on Uranus smoking meth,
exactly, you will be super high, and your day will be super long, and that's exactly what will happen. That's what we learned from this experiment.
Which one of the planets has a really long day? I don't remember which one.
You know something I've been looking for recently. I don't know if you have any ideas. I have been doing a lot of. I've been working with some wood, doing some wood projects, and by God, the sawdust is horrendous. And I try wearing goggles because if you wear safety glasses, it doesn't matter. It just gets behind the safety glasses into your eye. Like nothing hits you in the eye, but all the dust like settles in your eye, and it's just like the worst. It's like feels like someone threw sand in your face. I wear goggles and they fog up, and it makes it more dangerous. What the hell exists that I can wear that will like seal to my eyes but doesn't fog up?
I mean, you might be able to try and like put something on the inside of the goggles to help prevent the fog. I think there's like a couple of like folk remedies that I'm sure are more real than the aluminum thing.
Blow some smoke up your butt.
Yeah. No, I think isn't one of them like shaving cream?
Yeah,
like if you rub shaving cream on the inside.
I feel like it kind of works, but there's like so much water and condensation.
It's just like impossible.
Yeah,
I think it's impossible.
I think so too. Like I can't figure out what the hell's going on. I'm ready to buy some expensive like active air filter thing where it's like blowing air into like a hood.
Those too, but man, the 3M ones like start at $1,000.
There's gotta be some anti-fogging spray or something, right? That'll do something. Or like what about aerogel? Finely powdered aerogel. Like the way that Veritasium waterproofed his body.
That's a good idea. Or maybe, what if I inhaled it first? Then I would be able to see clearly.
Yeah, you'd have superpowers. Oh, hey, Jimbo. What a good boy. Jimmy Neutron entering the frame. Oh, he jumped off.
The claws came out. Yeah, I
So-
wonder. Oh, what did you find? Did you find?
Apparently, it's Venus. A day on Venus is 243 Earth days. There's 1 day on Venus.
Dude, you would need like
so
one
much
of
meth.
one of those like liquid pallets. You know, like the liquid pallet chemical pallets, like the big.
Oh, like the 400-gallon.
Yeah, you have to have that
tub.
filled with like liquid meth, and you'd have to like aerosolize it.
It's like you're an astronaut and your entire like personal allotment is just like 45 pounds of meth.
45
Well, on
pounds
the
of
plus
meth
side,
to get you through the day.
the day is 243 days, so that means that I think if it's like, a 12-hour thing like day and night, you would get to sleep for 120 days.
Wow.
That
Yeah.
sounds really
You
nice,
need it.
actually. Think of how much work you could get done, and then how long you could sleep after.
Because an 8-hour shift on Venus would be like 70 days. If it was like 8 hours, is like a third of the day. It's like,
yeah.
actually, like 80 days. So like 2, 4, 3 months almost straight.
Have you ever heard about those studies about how long you can actually stay up for?
Isn't the record like 10 or 11 days? It's not that long.
It's not that long. But then another interesting thing is the guy that did that, like he slept for, like maybe 20 hours and then woke up fine after that.
He was also like a pretty young guy. I think he was like a teenager or early 20s when he did that. I think if you tried to do that at our age, we would actually die. I think we would literally die.
That sounds nice.
Oh yeah, you're right. It was a 17-year-old.
Yeah. I think 17-year-olds could handle. I think you could have removed one of his hemispheres of his brain and he still would have been pretty okay.
What happened? Did he just go kind of
On the
like
11th day, when he was asked to subtract 7 repeatedly, starting from 100, he stopped at 65. When asked why he had stopped, he replied that he had forgotten what he was doing.
Wait, that's 65 is a lot. I don't know if I could even
I know,
get
that's
that
like pretty
far
impressive
like
anyway.
normally.
It would take me a while, but
Do you ever worry that you're going to get like a sobriety field test someday and that you actually can't do the alphabet backwards? Because I can't do that sober. I don't know how I would do that.
yeah.
yeah, he only slept for 14 hours and 46 minutes and then awoke naturally at 8:40 p.m. Okay.
Oh, God.
Stayed
I
awake
feel-
for another 24 hours.
It's like expecting your phone to charge more than 100%. Like it just sort of stops working at 0 and you can't make up for the time it was at 0. Like
Yeah, I would be surprised if he didn't have some kind of weird issues past that. Like once he did the initial kind of sleep off, if he didn't have some like messed up things with his sort of like sleep patterns afterwards for like a while.
90, 93,
I would
86,
You're trying to do the 7 thing.
79,
my
72.
question
Oh,
would
you're almost there,
be-
Kevin.
72, 65?
You did it.
What? Okay, yeah.
That's it. Okay, that was easier. You made it look easier than I thought.
What
it
are we
would be.
doing?
I feel like there was something wrong with the kid from the get-go because he decided to do this and stay up for 11 days straight.
I don't know. 17. Do a lot
Yeah.
of weird things at 17.
Dude, 11 staying up for 11 days
Why
straight?
not?
They didn't even have video games back then. What the hell was he
Yeah.
staying awake for?
Wait, how long ago was this?
64.
I think it was-
Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
And was this like just a kid or was this like a scientific study or was it like kind of a little bit of both?
I think it was science in the same way that we do science.
Air quote science.
Yeah.
Bullshit
The
science.
the best kind.
How do I want goggles that don't fog. If anyone listening to this knows of goggles that don't fog, like either actively or just a brand. I bought nice ones. I bought like the 3M ones and they're like brand new and they still fog up. They probably stick a coating on them, no?
Okay, I've got a pitch. What if it's not physical goggles, it's like the like mini air umbrella goggles where they just blow a sheet of air so fast over your eyes that the debris gets blown away.
That's a really good idea. My only concern is that the air is moving so fast that it would strip the cells off your eyes before anything was able to hit them.
Your like lower eyelids just inflate full of air.
Well, then you could just wear safety glasses then. And then the air will blow the debris away and the safety glasses will keep the air from stripping the cells off your eyeballs. And then they still fog up.
Wait, so the lab goggles, those even fog up? Have you tried those? You know, they have like the
Yeah,
little
dude, I've got ones that have
holes.
vents and everything, and they still fog up. I feel like I need to get like almost like one of the full face shields that like pumps air into it or something like that.
Yeah.
Because all I know is I've definitely gone to bed a couple nights in a row with like what feels like sand in my eyes, and that was wearing safety glasses. We should talk about maybe for the end the safety third tickets. Jesus Christ, the open sauce tickets. Let's see,
The giant thumping ass Among Us red Among Us tickets.
Shit. I have to make that now. You know, if I don't make that, you know, I can't. If I don't make a giant red Among Us,
Yeah.
that
no,
I'll
it's
never
gotta
hear.
have-
I'll never hear the end of it.
And it's got to have a booty, and it's got to be clapping,
Oh God.
or else why even bother?
I know. So the tickets that
We've
I
gotten
think
a couple quotes. You
Yeah.
know, like 2,000 or 3,000. It's not expensive. So I'd say you just buy it. Just buy it. Buy the Among Us. Will
can't
do
buy
it.
it. I gotta try to. I have to make
Sell
it.
your camera. I know you just said it was worth 2,000.
Well,
Trade
no, that's what it
for
costs
a
new. It's
giant
probably only worth
Among
like
Us.
1,200 right now. You know how that works. You drive the car off the lot. So tickets for Open Sauce are on sale now. You can go to opensauce.live and that's it. This information if you want to exhibit something. Fill out the application. We're going to have a deadline. I don't know when yet, but if you've got a cool project you want to show off and you want a booth, sign up to exhibit. Tell us what you've got. What you get if you exhibit is you don't have to pay to get in, which is nice. So, if you want to show up with something fancier than a regular ticket, we've got some other options too. We've got a VIP ticket, very expensive ticket. There's not very many of them, and a premium ticket, which gets you some cool perks and some close interactions with other YouTubers. So basically, what Open Sauce is a event that you get to see a bunch of cool things people have made. You get to meet a bunch of creative YouTubers. I can go through the list right now of people who will be there. All right, at Open Sauce, creators that you will be able to meet and see and hear from are
And kiss.
The Backyard Scientist, William Osman, Alan Pan, Jabril, Tom Stan, Code Bullet, Jake Laser, Emily the Engineer, Unnecessary Inventions, The Stephanie, CNC Kitchen, I Did a Thing, Electro Boom, Jorvin Moss, Lewis Wise, Kids Invent Stuff, Lab Muffin Beauty Science. That's where the list ends publicly. After that, I'll give. Let's see. Do I give one person away?
Yeah. Someone famous.
Okay, someone famous. Okay. Let's see. Who do I spoil?
All of the Mythbusters.
Michael Reeves. How did I miss these two? Oh, because they haven't filled out. I'm like my spreadsheet. Michael Reeves, Mark Rober.
Oh, that's a big one.
I know. I should have opened with Mark Rober. You know, when I talked to Mark about this, he was like, "I'll do it for you," and I was like, "Thanks, Mark." I felt like it was like my disappointed father who was willing to participate just to help me out. All right, so I feel like I gotta spoil one. I gotta spoil one that's not on the website. I feel like one that you guys would like. Technology Connections.
Oh, you got Technology Connections?
Yep.
Is he gonna do a podcast too, or just Open Sauce?
I think potentially just Open Sauce.
Okay, he doesn't want to talk to us, but he will stand next to us.
Of all the people coming, he is probably the one person I'm most excited to meet because he has like one of the most bizarre like genre videos on YouTube, and I'm so glad that they do well because those are the exact kind of videos that I would never have the confidence to make myself because I feel like nobody would watch them.
On paper, it doesn't seem like it should work, and then when you watch the videos, it totally fucking works.
You're like, oh, I'm going to keep watching these videos.
Yeah.
It is one of my favorite channels because it's very exploratory. It's very kind of educational. Like he does kind of like Project Farm, where they just explore something to death. like go way too deep, but like it's the obscene depth where it, like, you know, it's like the bad joke that when you keep going, it kind of circles back around.
Yeah, except that it's bad jokes that your like everyday life is composed of, and you didn't even know they were bad jokes until this guy told it to you, and you're like, holy shit!
Like a
my
toaster
car is built of bad jokes.
Yeah, like it only becomes interesting when you spend way too much time looking at it. And that's he's one of my favorite channels because it just does these insane explorations into things that you typically like you wouldn't think you'd be interested in.
Yeah,
and they're
like
so interesting.
why do plugs have holes in them? Like electrical plugs, why do they have holes in them?
Yeah.
How do car blinkers work? I mean, it's like all of this shit that's like you just take for granted.
Oh my god,
like,
Will and I were talking. We were like debating how they worked for a while. Like we didn't actually know, so we had all of these theories.
Oh, the turn signal blinkers.
Yeah.
I would guess that you guys were probably all right because there's a couple different kinds. It turns out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. My guess was a bimetallic switch that heats up.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Because that's where like the clicking would come from. But now it could come from the relays. I have no idea. Maybe both?
Well, I mean, one of the ones he went over was the bimetallic thing. There was also one that was literally just like a relay with a capacitor.
Wait, when's this video
Yeah,
from?
that was like a manually timed capacitor, charging and discharging thing.
Yeah,
like
and then the newer ones are like actually like I think digitally timed. So it's like like past a certain year, your cars would like it was guaranteed with certainty that your blinker could never sync up with the car in front of you because the bimetallic switch by nature you would never ever be exactly the same. But now theoretically you could because the cars are on digitally timed blinkers, so you could by chance sync up with someone in front of you.
You know what's unnerving? You can reset the Tesla UI computer while driving, so the drive computer stays on, but the entire dash and audio system will go dead while it's rebooting, and that includes the turn signal sounds. So you can put your turn signal on and it runs, but it makes no sounds and no blinks, and so you have no idea if it's actually on.
That's fun.
It happened a couple of times when we first got the car years ago. Without us resetting it, it just like would have a crash, and the entire everything would just go dark. And you're driving on the freeway like 75 miles an hour, and you're like the car doesn't make any sounds. The radio's off, the screen is up. Yeah, it happened while we were driving on its own. You can reset it. I've done it a couple of times. You try it with something.
Is it like a Game Boy where you pull out the key and blow on it and you put it back in?
No, you just keep driving and pray to God it turns back on. Usually it takes about 30 seconds for it to reboot. Maybe a little bit longer, but that's an experience. But yeah, if you want to know what it's like to use your turn signal but not hear any sound or have any feedback from your car, just hold both the buttons down on the steering wheel for about 15 seconds or maybe 30 seconds, and you can live that experience.
Oh boy.
Wow. Cool. Hot tip.
Anyways, you go to opensauce.live if you want to learn more about open sauce and come to the event San Francisco this July 15th and 16th. Or if you're a VIP ticket, you can get in the Friday night. And that is that's just the people who buy those, that you know who you are. I'm not going to try to sell that one. It's way too expensive. But yeah, thank you to everybody that supports.
You get an extra night.
Yeah. I mean, it's worth it, but it is a lot of money because we need to raise a lot of money. Thank you everybody who supports us on Patreon for the Safety Third podcast. Your names are going across the screen right now, and each of us is going to grab one, and we're gonna inhale it.
I'm gonna snort mine. Is that okay? Here, I'm
gonna
gonna put it on my hand
to protect you're gonna protect our lungs.
I'm gonna put one in this battery tester. We're gonna see.
This is hell.
Oh, that was a good name.
All right, let's see if this name is charged.
Oh no, it's not.
Oh
not
no,
charged.
it's dead.
Sorry, buddy.
How much time do we need for the names? I never actually know.
I'm not sure either. I'm amazed that the things that we do actually end up being.
Yeah, have you seen the endings?
I haven't. No.
Alan?
No. Was that with the bag?
In the bag? Yeah, and then
did they do that?
No. Yeah, they did that.
Oh,
they animated it perfectly. And then we took it off the wall the next week, and then the bag was dead because the guy in the name was dead because we didn't put any ear holes in the bag. They just like fell out.
That's amazing.
That's incredible.
All right, thank you guys. Head on over to Patreon if you want to support the podcast, or head on over to opensauce.live to check out the greatest, most epic science YouTube convention ever. That is not a joke. It is not an exaggeration. It is going to be lit, fam. See you next time.